Dear students, let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 5th July 2017. The first article, the terrorisms we overlook. Normally, anything that brings in frightening to the citizens, to the people, we can call that as a terrorism. Let's understand how the concept of state has come up. A popular theory is called as social contract theory. A citizen is ready to accept the authority of the state for the return of protection of his life, property, etc. So if the state is failing to protect his life, failing to provide him welfare and security, then obviously it is leading to the violation of the social contract that can manifest itself as violence and loss of credibility for the state. So this is what has been explained during the Britishers. So the poverty and un-British rule in India by Dadabhai Nauroji, it has tried to explain the exploitative nature of the East India Company and then followed by the British government. So today there are two major phenomena which are being exposed, which have took the attention of the nation recently. One is violence by the protectors of the cow. Now, the state is unable to provide the protection to the people against this violence. And whatever the announcement made by the Prime Minister in response to Not in My Name campaign on the social media appeared to be not very strong enough. So, it is leading to an insecurity among the citizens. Here the state inaction is leading to an insecurity which is breaking the social contract. And the second thing is there is corruption. Corruption is the worst form of violence against the poor. That is what is the opinion of the Supreme Court. In Kerala, as village office is unable to provide for the pattas to a farmer to sell his land, he has committed the suicide in the office premises itself. So, the corruption committed violence is that. So, this is also an insecurity to the citizens. These two also shall be considered as the manifestations of terrorism, as they are causing the fear, insecurity, and inability to live among the citizens. That's how it talks about. And signs of a Persian Gulf. Now, recently, the supreme leader of Iran, he has made a statement that in Kashmir also Muslims need to be protected. He has equated the Kashmir with Bahrain and Yemen. So, Indian government has thought to ignore these things. That also exposes some critical aspects of our balancing of the West Asia. There are three power centers in West Asia. One is Israel, Saudi Arabia, Iran. Saudi Arabia and Iran are against to Israel, and Saudi Arabia and Iran, they themselves fight among each other. Saudi represents the Sunni and Iran represents the Shia faction. So in these circumstances, we need to understand India is trying to make a tight balance between these three. So Iran and loss of or else hope for Iran is clearly visible in the recent change in voice. Now, India is supposed to get Farzad gas field, and Iran is already planned to give it to Russia. So, Farzad gas field, ONGC Videsh Limited is unable to gain that. And second is, the recent statement on Kashmir, in spite of knowing the sensitivities of India. And third thing, we need to understand about the Chabahar port. There is a huge publicity to the Chabahar port. We believed that it can provide the alternate route to Afghanistan, and it is India's response to the Gwadar port, and it will also provide for connectivity to India to the Europe. So, these all being the advantages, India has a very bad track record in completing the international projects which it has promised. The slow pace of the work made the Iran to announce that it can also offer the berths on the Chabahar port to Pakistan and China. So these all show that India needs to engage deeply with Iran and bring in clarity on the economic engagement with the country. And next is intermission. With the coming up of the GST, the taxes on movie theaters and cinema exhibition have increased. And then, the cinema being to be considered as a poor man's entertainment, the maximum rate of the tickets is also fixed. And over and above, the states are also levying entertainment tax. Because of this, entire industry and the people dependent on the industry may lose the livelihood. So that is the reason why it has been stated that Tamil Nadu may better remove the upper cap on the ticket price so that industry can survive. Open to capital. This is the most important article which I see today. One is the China yuan has become an important currency with regard to IMF. It's a reserve currency of IMF now. The major objection stated at that point of time is there is no capital account convertibility in China, and China's economic system is not tuned to the market reforms. Now, a major step towards the market reforms has happened. That is, China opened its bond market to the foreign investors. What are the advantages of this? It is a step towards capital account convertibility. Obviously, it will also raise transparency in the corporate functioning in China. And then the corporates also get foreign funds, and capital access to the sovereign and the corporates is bound to increase. And above all, yuan is going to get much speed and acceptance across the world. As more transactions happen in the yuan, the respect for the currency is expected to increase. The next is Election Commission, the interview with the outgoing Chief Election Commissioner. So let's understand few points over here. So what are the challenges and what are the steps which have been taken up? Mr. Jaidi, he has stated for providing for contempt authority to the Election Commission. So it was been criticized in the Hindu. The judiciary needed contempt authority for the reason that it cannot come in public and question the argument or question any person who has criticized it. But Election Commission is able to come forward and show itself to the people. So on what context they have made that request? The reason is many of the parties have raised concerns and tried to throw certain disrespect towards the Election Commission, its decisions. That's what the Election Commission have felt. And second, with regard to reduction of the money role in the elections, the amount of the money that can be collected has been reduced from 20,000 to 2,000 rupees. And third, the election bonds or electoral bonds are also been announced by the government. The most important thing is political parties are also expected to come under RTI Act. So the major emphasis which he is talking about is decriminalization of politics. The next is the front page. The Supreme Court opened to liquor sale on city highways. You already know that Supreme Court has, in its recent judgment, has banned for sale of the liquor across the highways. Now, many of the states have responded by changing the internal roads within the cities as district roads or state highways. So, in these circumstances, the Supreme Court has stated that the liquor sale on the state in the city highways is not a problem for the reason that the liquor consumption and speed driving, these are the deadliest combination and causing the highest deaths on the Indian roads. As the traffic moves very slow on city roads, so the liquor consumption is not a problem inside the city. That's what has been stated by Supreme Court. And then let's go to the next page. Display the new GST price on products. India is recouping with the GST and we have to see how it goes on. So you already know anti-profiteering clause. What is CGST, SGST, how is it been implemented? You all know this. Uday covers the 97% of discom debt. What is this Uday? It is Ujjwal Discom Assurance Yojana. It is to reform the distribution companies of electricity across the states. According to this scheme, whatever the debt the discoms are holding, this has to be taken up by the state governments, and state government in turn release the bonds, and whatever the money which it was able to collect through bonds will not be counted as part of the fiscal deficit. So this is what in a nutshell about the Uday bond is. And 97% of the discom debt now is covered by the Uday. It means the scheme is successful. So last page I gave you the notes. Try to go through this and collect these notes from laix.in/civils prep. Thank you very much and all the best.